technology is always a solution in the crisis. So technology will be really handy. There are multiple areas in which this technology would be adopted. One area is in the conduction of admission tests. The other area where technology definitely will play a most important role is in the learning space.
For online education to really become mainstream and enroll millions of students rather than hundreds of thousands of students, we need to have online degrees that are accredited by the various agencies.
My message to all the students and the higher education stakeholders is we need to double our efforts in this time in order to sustain and keep our economy afloat.
In India, we have to look at technology and education 4.0 as actually providing education to the uneducated, people who are not getting quality education.
Education 3.0 was nothing but technology driven. This is now going to be a permanent feature and is now going to figure in all the teaching learning activities of times to come.
Would technology still be a key factor in teaching and learning, or would it go back to how it was before the pandemic?
Yes, thank you, Bayal. This is Dr. Anekar. Yeah, it's been a very pleasure speaking on this.
Dr. Anita, I'm sorry, Dr. Narendra was asking this question. I'll just come back to you. So sorry. And before, I think Dr. Ganesh Rao has also joined us right now. Welcome, Dr. Ganesh.
Yes. Thank you so much. I think it was a question offered to me. So should I take this opportunity?
Yes, definitely, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Collegedunia, for giving me this opportunity, and hello to all the co-participants of this webinar. Well, the question is quite clear. We are facing the pandemic. And actually, our institute took this as blessing in disguise. We happily embrace the call of the new normal and work hard on increasing our capabilities and increasing our digital literacy initiatives. Actually, my honest opinion will always be in favor of offline education, as you asked, because this offers you the personal impact, the direct feedback, and more interaction which happens between the facilitator and the learner. And I think more student centricity can be achieved through offline. But my experience with the online education can always be told for the teaching fraternity is the prolific agility and expertise demonstrated by faculty members is not only praiseworthy, but it saved the students from possible miscarriage of academic justice owing to this pandemic. Today we have significantly migrated up the value chain. The students and the faculty members are well poised on a digital learning curve, and more importantly, there is not an iota of feeling such as digital phobia and academic deficit. So we have progressed a lot in progressing towards this online education. And if you ask me about the post-pandemic period, I think there will be blend. There should be blend of offline and online education, because this online education platform has provided us several opportunities of providing the best of education, where if I talk about in engineering sense, I can feel that we have adopted so many technologies. Actually, it was a benefit for our faculty members. They were already knowing about the Moodle. We were implementing Moodle. We were using Flip-Flop and Google Classroom earlier also. So it gave a steady impetus to our process of entering into digital era. And we took it as a challenge. And we implemented several technologies for giving most practical education to students. So as a blend, what we are thinking in the post-pandemic period, that even we can have courses like Coursera, where we can get effective lectures from the professors of Stanford or EDX professors of Boston University. And then we can have the simulation softwares implemented. If the student is learning to laboratories, we can show the virtual apps concept to them. Then we can record some videos and show it to them. So this is how the post-pandemic period will offer us the blend of offline as well as online education. The modern tools offer a plethora of ways and means to succeed in online education. Initially, the students require confidence building and measures of hand-holding, which I feel personally. The beauty of online education is that there is no sunset clause. The teacher and the learners are digitally connected 24/7 and they form symbiotic relationship. There is no constraint of timetable restrictions and festival holidays. Both can get digitally connected for important insights and problem solving. By the way, it is a wonderful digital boarding school with no artificial boundaries, which I feel. To succeed, both the entities, the students and the facilitators, should explore, learn, and experiment with the digital platforms and make optimum utilization of its contents and facilities. It's a proverb in Marathi, Aliya Bhogasi Asave Sadara. It means one should always go through the difficulties with grace, and that's what we implemented for our institution. We implemented the best of digital platforms. Everyone was quite eager and keen because the average age of the faculty members is just 37. Ours is a new institution, just 4 years before it was incepted. So that advantage we got, and as a blessing in disguise, we implemented most of the cutting-edge information technology tools to implement the best teaching learning process for our students and the most effective evaluation process. That's we did. And even in post-pandemic period, we will be offering a perfect blend of offline and online education to our students, which will make them attend the classes for some time and do their homework at any time, even on virtual mode after going back home also. That is how the beauty of this post-pandemic blend will happen. I feel so.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Narendra. I think it's amazing what you said, that technology has limited boundaries, and you can also capitalize on no border learning, and you can associate with teachers from across the border without actually any travel time involved. And also the no sunset clause also gives a massive opportunity where education institutes and students can optimize and capitalize. I'm so sorry, Dr. Sunil, Anita, for interrupting you earlier. I would now like to come to you and also ask you the same question on, coming back to during COVID, there was a dip in international exodus, and also there was a dip in migration of students within states in India as well, as parents and students were a little concerned about going to another city or a state. So, what are the trends that you have seen, and what you expect the coming trends to be, the post-COVID scenario, and how do you capitalize on that? What are the opportunities?
I guess this was the first thing which every teacher started adopting, how to mute and unmute.
Yes, I think this is something everyone, this is a very common dialogue in every webinar. Yes, Dr. Sunil.
Yeah. It is over to me, yeah. Thank you, Payal. And it's really thanks to all the authorities of Collegedunia. It's one of the best websites, and I have quite frequently visited your website. It's a very powerful database and gives a very good information to the students. Those are seeking admissions from local institute to the NITs, IITs, everywhere. It's very nice. Yeah, you have asked a very difficult question to me, because ours is one of the institute located at Varnanagar, is 30 kilometers towards Pune from Kolhapur.
Right.
So we have founded in 1983 under the auspicious visionary dream of late Tatyasaheb, and catered more than 13,000 alumni graduate education from the institute. I'll answer your question within 2 minutes only. The thing is that about the teaching learning process, college has been always adaptive. In 2012 itself, we started with the virtual lab. We were the first nodal center in rural Maharashtra for implementation of virtual lab. So we regularly adopted from 2014, 15, 16 onwards slowly the use of continuation of face-to-face education lab, plus make the students to use the virtual lab experiments, because those are one of the best experimental facilities available, good simulation, good references, good quiz is also available in the virtual lab. So thanks to the internet technology which are made available to us by the management with very good IT infrastructure in the campus. Also, we were the NMEICT remote center, center number 1028, and we have a number of programs our faculty has attended, and we have best experience of attending, carrying out, and circulating these programs to adjoining institutes as well. So our faculty upskilling regarding the use of online sources and carrying out the online lectures, practicals by using these available platforms is quite easier, and in this pandemic it has used greatly, and everybody were well practiced. NITTR webinars also and some of the workshops and training programs also we have conducted in the college before the pandemic, also during the pandemic also, which also has helped us, our faculty members, to reach to the every single students from the remote places. And thanks to the internet technology and the service providers, every single students have been connected to us because of these cheaper mobile cell phones are available with us, and because of that it is practically possible. And about the examinations, we have adopted a hybrid mode of carrying out the examination with the Moodle software. 50% of MCQ and 50% of descriptive type of questions they have to write, and that 50% questions Moodle they have to just session 1 submit MCQ, session 2 write the entire question paper, and within the 10 minutes of completion of paper of second 2 descriptive type they have to PDF and upload, and when they came back in the February they submitted their copies. We have a good experience of that. Rather, it has a good opportunity to learn the new technology, because many IT companies are doing the recruitment in an online mode, and which has really fetched us more than 400 plus placement in one single college for us in engineering. And this year also we have 250 plus placement already here out of our eligible 500 students. So another 3 to 4 months are there, we are going to complete. You asked me the question about the exodus of the students. That is going. Yes, it's an opportunity, definitely, but it needs a strong research base and advanced curriculum, because the students aspiring to go abroad for higher education may be largely into the USA, Australia, UK, or Europe and Germany. See that that kind of a thrust of the students, we should able to meet their requirement. It's an opportunity, at the same time it is a challenge as well. So it's not so easy. There are many students, they have joined online mode to the abroad universities. Many also traveled with their RT-PCR test and everything, part of vaccinations, their travel plan, they are moving to the abroad in the month of July or August. It's going on. But however, the number has reduced down over there. As a third party platforms, we are using the we are making the use of proctored examination system for our end semester examinations, and definitely this pandemic has given us an opportunity to get a good kind of credit transfer courses after the post lockdown, after the post pandemic. There is an opportunity that some of the credit transfer courses can be possible with the stalwarts. Those are there in front of me in this panel discussion with their institute. Also, we are interested to do some kind of MOU, and if they provide their facility of credit transfer courses in online mode, that's an opportunity which we are exploring from such a big institutions there in the panel discussion. Their authorities are there. So this is from mine. I hope that I could able to answer your 1 to 2 questions.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil. Now I'd like to ask Dr. Ganesh Rao and also welcome him as he joined in with the group. Dr. Ganesh Rao is the director of Pune Business School. Welcome, sir. I'd like to ask you, coming back to what is the new normal in the higher education in the Maharashtra area, and how has Pune Business School adopted to this new normal? What are the trends that you see in the coming months?
Your question is, what are the challenges you're facing? Am I right? Could I hear you right?
Definitely, sir. What are the challenges and the opportunities and the trends going forward in the coming months? What are the trends you're
Right.
seeing?
Over the past 1 year, we have seen how dynamic our education sector is and how they have responded so quickly and adapted themselves to the online mode. Now, there are two parts of it. One is the faculty and the service provider, upgrading himself and bringing himself. The second is the student accepting that as suitable education. Now, the challenge lies in the fact that the graduate students, who would be joining us next year. Now, I've been interviewing a couple of students. So their opinion is that the online education is not something that they look forward to. They want the offline campus. So they are all impatient for the offline. There's no problem as regards the quality. But these students had joined for offline campus. So now there is one area of concern that all of us have to address to, and that is informing these students that the online was only a stopgap arrangement, and that the campuses will be soon offline as and when the government regulations so permit us. Okay, so this is the biggest challenge, because thereafter decides, depends on many things follow thereafter. So the segment that we are in, the segment that as our campus students, so as faculty members, we are satisfied that we have delivered it. But as students, they crave to come to the campus to get that experiential learning. So that gap is there, because this is not the segment of working class who accept that it's a fantastic opportunity that I'm able to access such good faculty members that I can sit in the evening hours and learn from them, or follow them on the weekend and upgrade myself with the best faculty available in this country. These are the other segment. These are 20-year-olds, 18 years old, 19, 20, 21, who want that campus learning. So the challenge now for B schools like us today is to put them on an online mode for the next month or two. Because say, for example, these are guesstimates. Say, supposing the, for institutions like us, which are autonomous, affiliate, approved by AICTE, we look forward to something like August startup. So August would be, say, mid-August startup online. Maybe September would be online, and hopefully October, November would be offline. Okay. Now, these are all guesstimates. It is very important that we as education fraternity tell them that online is good from our side. We're able to deliver, but please understand this is only a temporary thing. So make best use of it, rather than waiting for the campuses to start. Make best use of it, because the corona is finally going. So this is the message that we need to give to the students, because that is where the challenge lies. The challenge doesn't lie in the education institutes not able to do it. All education institutes are wonderfully doing it. But the receptiveness and the acceptance of the students is not 100%, and that dissatisfaction may cause them to delay. So it's very important that we all, at the academic faculty, we give that comfort level to these full-time students who are students with age of 18 and 22, 23, that campus will still begin. Now, we hope and best that vaccinations will happen quickly for our segment of students, and things are back, and the world is well back to what it was. And in this hope that the future lies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ganesh. Very rightly pointed out that all the institutes are able to go ahead and teach and take their examinations. But the receptiveness of students and the students craving the experiential learning is a major factor. So taking that question up again, I would like to ask Dr. R.G. Ratnawat on how has your institute also enabled more engagement among the students and motivated the students to be more involved in all the teaching and learning? Because there comes a time when it's only a one-side affair and the teachers are teaching, but students are not as involved as they would have been when they were in a physical classroom. I'm also opening the discussion to our attendees, and the questions have also started coming in. So we'll be taking questions from the attendees going forward as well. So you can go ahead and vote any questions you would like to answer, and I'll ask you that as well. So yes, Dr.
Thank you, Payal, once again. If you ask me, there are two sides to this new normal. One is the challenges faced by the institutes, and the other side is challenges being faced by the students. And the other side, is more challenging for the institutes themselves. Okay. And the biggest challenge that comes to fore is the student engagement, as I mentioned earlier in my opening remark. Now, before we talk about how to increase the student engagement, I would like to mention some of the challenges which are being faced by the students. And this is based on my discussion with the students. So last night I was talking to some of the students, and I floated a question like, what are the difficulties that they are facing, and what are the possible solutions as well. Some of the students have tried to provide solutions as well. So putting these challenges together from the student side, which if taken care of, will automatically increase the students' engagement. So starting with technical or technology related challenges, which all of us are facing at one or the other point of time, and our generation, if you ask me, have not become so familiar and so familiar with the technology that even now, every now and then, you people have to point it out that you need to put off your mic or put on your mic and so on and so forth. But this new generation is well versed with that. So coming to the solution of this issue, technological issue or technology related issue, there are two aspects. One, learning about learning and adopting the technology, and of course, the second issue is related to infrastructural facilities related to technology. So that the institute will take care, and all the institutes are taking care of that. But learning the technology on the part of students is mandatory. There is no option, and same thing goes for faculty as well. Okay, so there is no second thought, and there is no option about it. We have to learn because as we have started calling it new normal, and post pandemic also, almost all of us are convinced that this online teaching learning is going to be there, and even Government of India through UGC has conveyed that yes, they are convinced that approximately 40% of the teaching learning is going to be 40% on online mode. And as sir has mentioned, Jadhav sir has mentioned in his remark that UGC has come up with asking for suggestions to the stakeholders, and so we are providing those suggestions. So this is how to deal with the technology related issues. Now the one of the very important challenges that is being faced by the students is distractions, all kind of distractions when they are at home attending the classes. So be it distractions from the family members, including siblings, or even distractions by the environment. Maybe if you ask me, the place where I am sitting right now is my living room hall and facing the balcony. So somebody passing and some hawker passing there and making some noise, it will disturb me. Okay, and then of course mobile phone is always a big distractor. So the suggestion for students are to overcome this challenge is first of all, please keep your cameras on always when you are attending the classes, so that distraction is minimized and you can listen to and you can be attentive to what is being taught in the classroom. Okay. Number one. And number two, as basic as preparing your own timetable of classrooms and other sessions, and informing your family members and the people around you that this is my timetable, and during this time I should not be disturbed. Okay, so to some extent this can solve the problem of distraction. Okay. And of course distraction from mobile and other equipment has to be dealt with by the students themselves, and it's more of a matter of changing the habits. So then the third type of distractions, of course, which is very, very challenging, and when we talk to the students on one-to-one basis, we came to know a lot of it about. And that challenge is that how to stay motivated during these challenging times. So from all around the places and all news channels and everywhere, you're getting all kind of news, negative news, and that is one side of it, and the other part is that suddenly, because there is a shift from offline to online classes, they are not sure. The students are really, little worried about whether it is going to be going to affect our future in one way or the other. Okay. So now keep for students, I'm saying to keep yourself motivated. As I said, please engage yourself in the class as far as possible by keeping your your camera on in the virtual classroom, and then also keep talking to your friends, your group members, your team members, and also, of course, keep talking to your professors in the class and after the class as well. So this is one way you can keep engaged, and you will feel motivated by what others are doing. So you can also be a part of it, and you can also participate in all those activities. And to participate in the classroom activities, be it answering the questions or participating in the classroom discussions or doing a variety of projects, etc. Okay? And lack of in-person interaction has been a challenge, and it is a challenge which all students are facing. So all these measures that I've listed are, I'm sure, will help in students to overcome this particular challenge. And of course, putting all this together, students are little worried that thinking that whether our future is going to be certain or uncertain. So we as faculty and institutes have the responsibility of assuring the students time and again that no, this is not going to affect your future adversely. And post-pandemic, of course, there is going to be a blended learning. So our faculty members will keep meeting the students. So the situation will certainly improve, and there is only one direction for the situation, and that is the direction of improvement. So this way they can overcome these challenges.
Right, sir.
And improve their own engagement. And from the institute side also, the student engagement can go up by taking care of all these issues.
Right, definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ratnawat, for your views. Yes, definitely there is some onus that lies on the students' side on creating a timetable, keeping the camera on, keeping the communication on with the faculty and students. But still, it's a little harder time for students as well when the motivation doesn't come from inside and there's an effort that needs to be taken. So I definitely agree, and I would ask a similar question to Mr. Sunil Jadhav. And since you also mentioned your opening statement that engagement is a very important aspect in all your institutes. And apart from that, also a question by Ajit Jain that has been upvoted as well. Ajit Jain is asking, a lot of students come to Pune and Mumbai expecting a greater exposure because of students coming from all over the country here. So moving forward, will a component of exposure be irrelevant, or will it still be a very important aspect of students' decision making while they're choosing their Mr. Sunil?
Yes, thank you very much for your question, and I'm not sure how much time I got, but I will take at least 2 minutes to talk about. Everybody is in academia here, right? And I hold a slightly different position of being a managing trustee, wherein we employ a lot of academicians and a lot of PhD, right? So one of the things which I have seen and I have been predicting based on my experience, I was, as you mentioned in my opening remarks, 20 years I was in US. I was senior vice president in Citibank, worked on all Wall Street firms and so on and so forth, right? And also being very, very good in academics. There are a few things which we should start looking forward. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of a futuristic view. And there are some sort of some slight disagreement about where exactly the new normal is going to be. But I think that there is a common theme which is coming up. And that common theme is blended learning. Now, I understand Dr. Ganesh Rao mentioned that students are absolutely eager to come back to the campus, right? But I will say the new teaching learning thing is going to change. And this also addresses your question of whether the student engagement or the attraction of the students to Bombay, Pune, or for that matter, you want to extrapolate that, then attraction of the students to foreign universities, right? What I mean by teaching learning. See, if you really look at the evolution of education and how it is going to get evolved, I can see forward-looking 5, 6, 10 years down the line. Simple example, quota. JEE model, I call JEE model. What was that model? That model was that the teaching, we use the teaching and learning interchangeably, right? But I think it is really important for all the academicians to distinguish between what is teaching and what is learning. And in quota model, you have a 5-star teacher who is making 50 lakhs, 1 crore, whatever for that matter. He's teaching to all these JEE students. Everybody's getting attracted there. Now there was a limitation of, I called brick and mortar, in the sense that there were only limited number of people who can come to this thing, right? What they did, the next evolution, they said, you know what? Why only stick like that? Meaning, I have seen some of the coaching classes wherein teacher are teaching and everybody's sitting on a seminar hall and people are watching on CCTV. Now, this model was non-sustainable. So they moved this model to teaching online. Now, how you are going to compete with this teacher who is a rock star in a specific subject, right? Because that is a consistent question which I get from the student form of feedback, saying that, listen, the teacher is not teaching, he's not engaging, and what we should do when we can go online and we can do it. So what I tell all the teachers is that understand this thing. Now you are no longer teacher, you are learning facilitator. So this is the place wherein the learning comes into the play. What do I mean by learning? Learning in the sense that now you become all the teachers, instead of being, of course, if you are a teacher, you can teach online, right? You don't have to teach. Again, I think Dr. Sunil also mentioned that they wanted to open an off-campus somewhere and they wanted to do this credit transfer and everything. Yeah, you might have some superstar teachers, right? If you have superstar teacher, then that model can be scaled. However, the teachers today, they have a moral responsibility, and that's the reason why it is 60%, wherein they need to be big brothers of the students. So how you want to engage them? You want to engage them saying that, okay, you know what? I understand the concept of 5G, right? I understand. I have given a lot of talks on artificial intelligence and blockchain, right? I will tell you that this is the place wherein you can go and get your resources of artificial intelligence. Let's watch the video together. Once you watch the video together for half an hour, then you change from teaching to learning. Then you start talking to the students, right? And this is the flipped classroom, which I think Dr. Anita was also mentioning, right? Wherein you have put the student at the center. And this is what we are doing at Rajiv Gandhi College of Management Studies, as well as Indira Gandhi College of Engineering. What we had predicted, especially with the tools and technology before COVID, we have adopted not only Moodle. Moodle is a very old open source platform, but just being a technologist, we had adapted to all the Google Classroom, the Jamboards, exam.net, proctored examinations, everything was coming in the pipeline. So the transition became very, very easy for us, right? So to answer your question, right, whether there is an attraction of Mumbai and Pune, right? Maybe there might be an attraction, right? Why there will be an attraction? Because at the end of the day, you need some sort of a networking, right? But that it has a diminishing returns. What I mean by that, right? So you can get those lectures from Mumbai, Pune teachers online, right? However, that is only teaching, right? When you want to learn, you need to collaborate. Now that might be facilitated by technology. There are tons of online collaborators. I think Dr. Anita also mentioned that they are using MS Teams and Google Meet and all sorts of platforms which facilitates this collaboration. But at the same time, the advantage of Mumbai, Pune or foreign universities has taken slightly hit. I will tell you why. Now, even foreign universities, addressing that one question which was addressed to Dr. Sunil Anekar, was foreign universities, they have adopted. I graduated from New Jersey Institute of Technology. There are Carnegie Mellon University. I have tons of friends who are professors there. They started adopting. What they are doing is that, as Dr. Sunil had mentioned, that they started online. Now they are trying to do this collaboration, and then they are trying to attract the students there. The interest of the students has gone down slightly, but wherein our educational institutes will come into play is providing them this holistic experience. Sorry, I took too much time than allocated, but I hope I was able to answer at least few of the questions and queries. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, sir. And I think putting the student on the center and focusing more on learning rather than just teaching, and putting the student as a focal point and using various techniques to get to make the student involved is a very important aspect that you rightly highlighted. So coming to Dr. Anita Kumar, there's a question by Aman Kaushal, and he's asking on what are the ideas that you have explored in order to increase the low attention span of students over digital platforms. Since you were the first pioneers and you've adopted to digital teaching early on, So how did you address the problem of low attention span?
Yes. So there are a number of tools that are available on Teams platform, and I'm sure other platforms as well. Polling is one of them. Q&A is one of them. Then breakout sessions is one of, these are the tools that are being commonly used by the teachers. And actually, to hold the attention span, what we are doing is we are giving them the reading content 2 days before. Everything is uploaded on the Blackboard, and then that content is free. Now, please understand that these are 22 years old. If I tell them, please come prepared and reading the case study, they don't do that. But in online mode, they know that they have to answer the questions. There is no reading time allowed to them during that 1 hour. It is only the Q&A session. So reading time has to be done by them, and they have to take ownership of that content and the reference material. In fact, we have also started uploading, the PowerPoints and the cases and everything. In management studies, we are lucky that we don't have too many practicals, but at the same time, we do have videos. So video is already shared with them, and in the class, during that 1 hour of engagement, right, it is only engagement with the students, and there is no teaching as such per se. So we are just facilitating the discussion. Yeah. And the second thing what we do is that we are, into continuous assessment. So it is not that you deliver your lecture and you're out. No. I mean, after 50 minutes, we ask our students to have 2 takeaways. So they need to, either write and share, and it is very easy to upload, files on MS Teams. So either they have to write and upload. So that way the student has to be on the toes that if I miss something, and my peer group answers, then I'm in trouble. So that's how we keep them engaged. But I do agree that, campus life at age of 22 is very important. And it's not only about academics. I'm a firm believer that, peer group interaction and, the sports, the academics. Now, Amity has got A-class infrastructure. We are our Noida campus, which is a flagship campus, and even Maharashtra campus. We provide all kinds of sports activities, gym, and reading libraries and everything. So it is the networking which is very, very important, and that's what the students come for actually, right? And this is something they will miss, and they are missing. So they are willing to come to the campus. Regarding foreign campuses, I know, and I completely agree with Mr. Sunil Jadhav there, that they have completely migrated to, online. Now, I have had some students who actually went to UK in October to join their programs, but everything is online, and they're sitting in UK and attending online classes, which doesn't make sense. So the students have realized that, the quality of education is equal, if not excellent, in India as well. And if they have to complete their degree, then they should be, looking at different options in and around the city as well. So this is, we try to engage the students. And I think continuous assessment instead of one-time exam helps them to refresh and relearn the courses again and again. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anita, for highlighting these very important aspects and tools. And I believe having an engagement session without teaching and just facilitating the students talking amongst themselves is also a very important aspect that every institute should adopt to their learning modules. So there's another question by Deepak Bhope, and I'd like to ask Dr. Atul Kumar from SIBM this question. So he asks, due to the pandemic, student internships got adversely affected, especially for the final year UG students. Internships in core industries are not possible through online mode. So how have your institute and academia managed with this, and what is your solution going forward as well? Dr. Atul, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. So in this tough time of pandemic, many of the institutions, not only many of the institutions, they face the challenges for giving the internship to the student. But fortunately, due to the AICT initiative and one of the portal Internshala, and many of the companies, they too also came with the concept online internship. So that helped our student, and we have also connected with many of the companies. Those helped us giving some internship and projects. And basically, Internshala helped a lot with the internships to every institution. So our institution also taken the help of Internshala, and many of the companies, those who are associated with us, we requested them to give some live experience to our students. But unfortunately, that also could not make good sense to the students, because learning while visiting a company and going to a company, understanding the protocols of the companies and the working culture of the company, just sitting at home and completing some of the tasks given to you or the assignment given to you by any company is not making that much experience to the student. But eventually we were not having any option, and we were forced to do so. So that is why we adopted only these things for the internships, and only these are the options available. Some of the good institutions, they also provided, that is not with my institution, but some of the good institutions, they definitely provided one capstone projects for their students, when foreign companies, MNCs projects. Yeah. So this is what could be done during this time. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Dr. Atul. And I think one common theme that is coming out from this session regarding the new normal in India and Maharashtra is that technology has exploded within the process. And
can you go on mute, please, if you are not speaking? Too much echo. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So, yes, one common theme that has come out of this session is that technology is a very important aspect, and it is now imperative to ensure that institutions are aligned to the fast evolving tech advancements through innovation, partnerships, through new tools that are coming up to accelerate the tech adoption. And also to make sure that in the coming months, once everyone is vaccinated and even when we go back to normal, technology is still a part of our teaching learning experience. There's a blended experience that is imparted to all the students. So moving on, I'd like to ask the next question to Dr. Narendra Kanhe. And the question is by Saurabh. He's asking in questions like mechanical engineering, where labs play a vital role, how this new normal is affecting the education of students and how colleges are coping with that. So how do you work with the practical learning?
Well, it's a really valid question by a budding mechanical engineer. In fact, mechanical, electrical or civil engineering are the core branches where it is required that students go through experiential learning. They perform as many practicals as possible. For electronics or computer engineering, it's possible that you have a decoder app and you can do programming. Then in electronics, you can have a lot of animations where you can learn through virtual labs concept. But for civil engineering or for mechanical engineering, where a lot of experimentation needs to be carried out in heat and power laboratories, or say for metallurgical things, or where manufacturing processes where a lot of machines are involved. How can you learn about virtual labs concept? Still, there are some virtual labs which are available from IIT people that students can go. But what we did at Bajaj Institute of Technology, we asked our professors to record the videos while they were performing the practicals. So by two different angles, the videos were recorded and those were given to students for learning the practical aspects of a particular concept. So that is essential, because most of the times this virtual labs concept is not going to tell you the exact concept. Suppose there is additive manufacturing, or suppose there is electronic discharge machining. How you will see the operations which are going on in machines? Through virtual concepts, it is slightly difficult. So it is better to show the animations first, and later on, if you record the videos, that will be quite beneficial. Now the onus is on the institute how they leverage to this technology, because this technology has put some challenges, which is for core branches of engineering. So for whether mechanical engineering or whether civil engineering, where concrete technology experimentations have to be shown to the students. So you need to show the samples which you have casted. You need to show what are the tests which you are conducting. You need to show how the comprehensive testing has been done. So that is very essential, that you record the videos and through different angles, you show how the testing was carried out. So our teachers took a lot of efforts. They spent a lot of time in the laboratories with the help of lab assistants in recording these videos, and it was a challenge how to present these videos to students, because they have a limit of a bandwidth. So what we ask students to come in batches, collect the pen drives from the institute, go and learn, and we used to conduct their vivas on the experimentations they have seen. Earlier, Dr. Ratnawat also told that there should be some, all the students should keep the videos on, but that puts a restriction on the bandwidth. So that is another challenge which we faced. So like we implemented certain concepts at Bajaj Institute of Technology, that we used to conduct the intermittent quiz. We told students that any time the quiz can be conducted during the lecture, and you would be given internal marks. If you answer that question within 5 minutes, you will be getting 2 marks. So that is how you have to encourage. You have to motivate the students so that they will be more involved in the learning aspects. So that is how one can increase the attendance of students. So more and more practical aspects, if you implement in your teaching learning process, that will give you more impetus, that will increase the attendance. Surprisingly, the attendance in our institute is around 60 to 70%. So that was like very encouraging students. And I would like to add another thing, that Bajaj Institute of Technology was on #1 position this time in India in terms of software projects selected for the National Hackathon competition. And all the 40 students, they really worked hard during the severe stage of a pandemic, and they implemented all their software projects. Later on, the hardware projects were also implemented by the students staying at remote places, and they surpassed this challenge, and 2 of our teams won the prizes, one in the software edition and other in the hardware edition. So it is not the case that students are not interested. It is how the leverage is taken by the institute, how this institute is playing its role in extremely motivating the students, how you are making it more student-centric, how you are increasing their interest levels. That is more important. So in blended learning also now you will have to follow. You will have to follow that how you are utilizing the digital platforms, how you are making them alert, what recommendations you are making them, how you are making them aware and keeping them on toes. This will be the deciding criteria how successfully you will be implementing both the technologies. So that is how one has to follow the pathways and make this blended kind of a teaching learning process more effective, which I feel in the current scenario.
Definitely, sir, and thank you for highlighting those points and highlighting the videos, and it's on the institute and how you leverage technology and impart even practical learning via animations or videos or different forms. So thank you so much, Dr. Narendra. There's a very interesting follow-up question by Aman, and I'd like to open this to all our panelists. The question is, what are your thoughts on gamification of educational content in order to boost student engagement? And a lot of universities in the West, especially internationally, are exploring this space, and early research has proven it to increase the attention span of young students. And I'd also like to add a lot of new young startups coming up on teaching via gamification content, using gamification tools and videos along with videos. So I would like to open this question to all our panelists, whoever would like to take this up and answer this question.
So gamification is a really, really interesting concept, and I think that it is, again, as you can see, it's $1 billion plus industry, especially whenever you are trying to get into this new and innovative ways, right? See, it is, I wouldn't say it is a new invention, but I think that it is just a slow adoption, right? Like, say, for example, even if you look at the cutting edge online teaching learning delivery platforms like Khan Academy, right? There is already embedded a gamification. Even for that matter, even in K-12, what I have seen is that there are tons of applications. Like say, for example, you want to learn French, or you want to learn something, right? There are, and they have. This is a new opportunity for the startups. And again, at IG College, Indira Gandhi College, and at Rajiv Gandhi College, we have a very, very vibrant a startup center called Ignition, wherein we encourage budding startups. And one of the companies who is real interested is actually into this gamification of education, and it is basically point based. Like say for example, you're playing PUBG or you're playing any kind of those games, right? Because all these young generations, they call us boomers, but these guys, what they are doing is that they try to up their skills. So it's like say for example, you are just I'll make up an example. You're playing Call of Duty. Now you need to have specific skills to get those specific tools. And that is the motivation. And unfortunately, if you cannot beat them, you join them. That is the whole idea, right? Like, if you cannot beat the kids' attention span because they are doing too much of this thing, maybe the education industry, and there are tons of opportunities there, tons of openings there, right? So you start giving them some sort of an incentive. And this is, I think that I have seen multiple apps and multiple startups doing this kind of thing, and I think for the higher education, I think that they are like slow adopters. Unfortunately, K-12, they started adopting. I have seen this thing based on my vision. But yes, gamification in higher education seems to a really, really interesting concept, and I would definitely like to hear what other panelists are seeing and what exactly is their experience.
Definitely. Thank you, Mr. Sunil. Yes, Dr. Anita, she'd like to take this question.
Gamification has been there for quite some time. In logistics, for example, we have this beer game, which has been in supply chain management. Also, we have these management games, quite a business plan and stuff like that. And I think gamification is a very good idea because it's an extension of the competition, right? So, and students at that young age need to have that competitive spirit, they need to present their best ideas and they need to work in teams to create a competition. So, earlier we were using gamification tools, when I was teaching at IMT, and so gamification tool was very much in there where students were competing with each other and, through a competition using these simulation tools. Now, but what I would think is that, unless the student know the concepts, it's not as simple as, playing a PUBG or something, because unless student know the concepts, the game, to play it in the real essence, you need to have those theoretical concepts in place. Like how will you lower the inventory and who has the lowest inventory, and how will you manage a customer who is dissatisfied, right? So I feel gamification should be there, but the game should be built on real concepts, on the theoretical concepts, rather than just, having, chase kind of a thing or a car chase or those kind of things. So educational tools, but their conceptual knowledge should be tested through games. That's what I feel.
Right. Definitely, ma'am. And I think gamification in the educational concept would mean probably giving incentives. If you have a MCQ or a learning platform, you probably give reward points for completing a quiz or completing one part of the course. And basically rewarding students for completing a course, or adding tools within the educational infrastructure and the course structure to accelerate development and improving the attention span. So I would, if any other panelists would like to add to this question, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to say that as you rightly mentioned, Payal, it has to start with the basic level, where, as Dr. Anita also has mentioned, that should be useful from the content learning point of view. So what we have done is we have asked our faculty members to create small quizzes in form of games for, say for example, a game similar to KBC, okay, where students can in real time participate and they are rewarded as well for whatever credits they get, and then we can move on to simulations. But a big challenge in this is going to be again teacher training. Yeah. So not all teachers are going to take part to start with, and of course, if the institute wants to adopt this gamification of content in a big way, then yes, it is going to be a big challenge, I would say, teacher training. But yes, gamification is there and is going to be there, and it is going to be the future, as a part of learning, teaching learning. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely, sir.
Just one quick follow up, because this is very interesting concept to Dr. Ratnawat. Is basically, see, again, teacher training is absolutely important, but I can almost see that AI coming into this space. And when AI, there are already some sort of innovations, and there are some startups in US wherein they are trying to use this gamification and AI. Again, to Dr. Anita's point, right? Of course, it is not a game of chase or anything like that. It is basically what Payal mentioned, like, how you get a reward, how you want to up your skill, right? You will not get to the next level unless you complete this much hump, unless you get this kind of reward points. And here, I think AI in education will create a lot of disruption. This is just a forward-looking thing. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil. And very rightly pointed out by all our panelists that gamification would accelerate and would be involved in a deeper way. And it is imperative to keep technology as an ally for an institution's academia as well as administration development. So I'd like to ask my next question to Dr. Sunil V. Anekar that yes, we are adapting technology in teaching, but how has technology been adapted in the administration aspect of your institute as well? So Dr. Anita, if you could answer this. Also, before you answer, I'd like to point out we'll be wrapping this session in the next 10-15 minutes. So we'll be taking the last few questions from our attendees. If you have any other questions, please put it in the Q&A panel. Thank you. I'd like to ask a quick question to Dr. Ganesh. That, sir, how has technology been implemented in the administration aspect of your institute as well?
See, administration, being employees, they always will accept it much quicker and much faster. But the challenge doesn't lie in our own people, the employees, the professors or the admin staff, they will always accept it. But from the other side, you have to watch it, whether the students are accepting this. Okay, I'll just sidestep a bit and talk generally about the new normal that we've been talking about. Everybody's talking about a new normal which is coming in, and suddenly then everybody talks about 80% and then 20% online or different proportions, different tools. Let us accept that the current campus students are not very keen and excited about this new normal, because they don't look at the percentage of online and offline, but they are looking at the longevity. How many months will it be this way before it reverts? So my request to all the my panelists will be that we need to build up the confidence of the students about the point that the new normal is interim, it is temporary, and it is going to go. This will give a lot of confidence to the student community, because, for example, I come from the business school community. So we're talking about building business acumen, building management acumen. Now, this has to come through, motivation. You have to go through the experience. So we need to. I know this is not in our hands. It could be 5 months away from today or 6 months away from today. So the student confidence, building up that confidence is important. The tools and technology are wonderful, and these students will pick it up gradually. New students will emerge, new models will emerge. The new model, the new normal may be something totally different in the year 22, which would be picked up by another segment of the market. Okay, the students who have already joined, they wouldn't adapt anything quicker, but the students who would be taking admissions, it would be easier for them to put them in this.
Definitely, sir. Sir, I can't see you.
I would like to add to Dr. Ganesh that with this new normal, definitely there will be different SOPs to be managed by the administrator. One is you will have to redefine the teaching and learning objectives for getting the learning outcomes more. Secondly, you will have to ensure the smooth transition from online to offline, because it's a long time, 1.5 years students are doing online. So now you will have their smooth transaction from, say, this transition from online to offline will be slightly difficult, but you will have to work on that. The third important aspect which I would like to quote is you will have to ensure the emotional well-being of the students. That is also important. And the fourth one is the capacity building of all the stakeholders. So these are the four challenges which we will have to meet to see the transition goes quite smoother from online to offline or in the blended form of an education.
Right, definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Narendra. Dr. Anita, would you like to add something? Yes.
No, since we are running out of time, I want to address a question that is very, very relevant. Mr. Santosh Kumar is asking this question, and it says how to help the slow learner students when they are psychologically stressed and depressed. Now, this is, we have been talking about online model being wonderful and everyone adopting and, the new normal and all. But I sincerely feel that there is a certain section of students who are feeling left out. And, there are always these kind of students, who are slow learners who do not speak up in the class. And I have a student in my class who, stammers a little bit. But then with the computer systems, he is so comfortable and he has got, mastered all the tools of computers that now he is becoming a star in the class. Right? Now, there are students, and internet is having a negative impact on the psychology of students. So I think someone here has mentioned that emotional well-being of the students is also very, very important. And we are also important stakeholders in addressing that. We have talked about academic learning, we have talked about, but mental and emotional well-being of the students to some extent is also our responsibility. And I would really like to ask all the panel members, how they have been addressing this issue. Because sometimes I personally feel it is a challenge to bring out these, students who like to hide behind computer screens. They're not visible at all. They don't talk in the class. They are not switching on their cameras. And
let me take that question really quickly, and especially emotional well-being is absolutely important, and I'm really proud of faculty members at Rajiv Gandhi College as well as Indira Gandhi College, wherein again, internet, they are trying to hide behind the screens, but we have adopted this successful mentor-mentee kind of culture, wherein it is a responsibility, and there are office hours, weekends or whenever for that matter, wherein the teacher says that, okay, I'm going to be available for you during this time. If you have any kind of issues, please come. And more importantly, also the teachers, we are encouraging all the teachers through their faculty development and upskilling, wherein the faculties are encouraged to go and have that kind of interaction with the teacher, with the students. And I think this is very, very important for the learning-centric approach, wherein the teachers now become learning facilitator and they are understanding the cues which a student is giving. And then they are trying to go after that. And just because of this new thing, I think that they are being a little bit more efficient. And again, just last thing which I wanted to address to Dr. Ganesh Rao and Dr. Narendra about the new normal which we are talking about. Understand, when I am in the favor of this blended learning about 40-60, it doesn't mean that campus life should not be there. The campus life is absolutely important. The networking, especially in the business schools, right? New York University Stern Business School or any place wherever you go, they charge a heavy premium for online, for on campus, rather than this distance learning kind of thing, because there is a value in networking, right? However, what I'm trying to tell you is that the students have adopted and they have gotten accustomed to this online thing. So what I envision is that you might have these smart rooms, smart classrooms which you are already facilitated, and there will be a collective viewing of this online content. So the student will still come to the campus, but it will have that kind of slight changes because they have already, or for that matter, as Dr. Anita mentioned, that they will give some sort of an assignment before coming to the school, watch this video, watch this, that, and that, and then come to campus. So my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
I think there is also one very relevant question here, which is about the cost. And each one of us in the management team is facing this question because students normally, put this question to us. I can get this course on Coursera, supply chain and all for 50,000 rupees. Why do I have to pay 3 lakh rupees for MBA? These kind of tough questions are being asked. And for that reason itself, I think online mode is not sufficient. It has to be blended, and that campus environment is like. However, I feel for working professional, it is a huge opportunity because in India, distance learning is not that well developed. So for working professional like CII, Institute of Logistics that we have a lot of certification programs for logistics professionals, which they can avail online. They don't need to come to campuses anymore. They can avail online and then pass on their credits and everything. But for a 22-year-old, I think coming to the campus is very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for highlighting these two important questions. And I'd like to ask the second question with Dr. Anekar as well. That how are you addressing the question of cost? Because students are worried that if it's an online education, why are you charging the same cost as you would for an offline mode? And how do you address these concerns for students?
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Online will give you only the knowledge base and some kind of focused attention and learning independently. Although the teacher and resources are available on online mode, but having rightly pointed out by Dr. Ganesh and Dr. Sunil Jadhav sir, the campus experience is a totally different, and learning on the campus is entirely making the students far away from their home, from incubator of family, and they will really learn at situation handling capacity, group living, problem solving, time management, and more all that, how they can keep themselves away from the modern attraction. That's really make them that what is good or bad in their life, and they can really learn so many things in their life to be on campus. And we cannot entirely replace the total blended learning. Can be, I am of the mindset of not more than 15 to 20%. For advanced skills, those are not available in the campus. For them, they can go ahead and secure that kind of training programs from institutes of national and international repute in an online mode, which sometimes not possible that every students can get admission or physically go over there. That's what I have a view about this kind of blended learning. But more of the experiential learning is very, very important in human life.
I'll take up this question of Vijay Deshmukh. What is the future, online or back to offline, or what are the chances of blended mode? This is the most popular question that the incoming student is asking. All the students who come to Collegedunia are asking the same question. Sir, when are you starting campus? Is it going to be offline this year? Now, the message that we as faculty members or we as administrators have to pass on to the student is, we all have been set up years back with a campus in mind, and looking after at the demographics of our population and the composition of my population and the market segment that we are in, they all come for campus education. So somewhere we all have to tell them that blended will come in due course. The percentage will depend on what that particular segment thinks of. Maybe some segment is absolutely okay with 100%. Okay, maybe 80%. But most segment, they are 20-year-olds, okay, who are coming on the Collegedunia platform, who are inquiring with various websites and various colleges on the portal. What is the future, sir? When are you going to start campus? And nobody has an answer because we are in wartime, we are in pandemic, and the pandemic is on its way out. Vaccinations will be done next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 8 months, but not beyond that. I look at an end date 2021, and I think we all look at the end of all these things latest by 21. So 100% January, 100% campus. So this is a kind of message when you give that the students go in for the admission mode, because this is a different generation. They wouldn't pause to take a drop of an year, and that may not be, they may not feel much now, but as years later, they may feel that they lost out, because we can tell them of the ways and means that how through some quick accelerated programs that we can cover up the syllabus that has been covered online, because that is what the students are looking for. There's some kind of students who are fine with online mode, but that is a very big, small minority, but the minority is vocal and the majority is quiet. So I think that's a very popular question. I think Collegedunia staff also would be facing the same question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kanhe, for summarizing this question. If any of our other panelists would like to take this question or any other question on the poll, please let us know.
I would like to add something. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll start with Dr. Narendra and I'll come back to
Please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to add that besides this online education, the one important problem is we can't forget that everybody is a human being. So human values are very much required, which will be obtained through friendship, fellowship, interpersonal relationships, sharing and caring. These values are totally missed in online platform. So if we bring the students early to campus and if we expect that soon they will be coming to campus, it will be the best thing, because generic skills are important for developing anything, whether he is engineer or he is a management profession. Generic skills are important and that can be only developed through offline mode. So that is how we are expecting soon the students should come to the campus to gain all the life skills and generic skills which are important for the human to develop these skills and progress in life, because we are the humans first. So that is how the human life is all about.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Kanhe. Now, I'd like to final statement. Mr. Sunil was saying something. Your closing remarks.
Yeah. So real quick, right? So one of the things about the cost, right? I would like to address that thing. And this question, we as an educationalist, we are going to get that. And there is no reason for us to run away from that thing, right? Like the common question is that if I can get an easy course or a simple course on Coursera, why I should pay you such an exorbitant fee? Understand this thing. The answer, the standard answer for us is that whenever you take any kind of syllabus from edX platform or any other platform, it is a teaching, right? Are you learning? That is the question. Are you learning? So here the teacher needs to change their role to learning facilitator, right? Trying to figure out, trying to guide the students where exactly you can get the best content. Instead of competing, I think that it might be worthwhile for an education industry to start collaborating with this kind of questions, saying that yes, we value and our value is at least 60 to 80%, wherein we will make sure that the content which you have learned, and again, I think Dr. Anita also mentioned about the continuous assessment, right? That again becomes an absolutely important tool, wherein we will make sure that you have learned that concept. It is not a one-way street. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Jadhav. And since we're running out of time, and Dr. Anita has already left, she had a prior appointment. So I'd like to inform you that this session will be available on YouTube and all our social media channels. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our panelists and guests for gracing us with your presence and taking out the time out of your busy schedules to connect and share your experience and knowledge with us today. Today, we addressed some very fundamental questions pertinent to the future of higher education in India and in Maharashtra, and had some very enriching and eye-opening discussions, and I, for one, learned a lot. From teaching, assessment, gamification, and more, we covered a lot of topics. Having said that, I would like to thank you all again, and I appreciate you all for taking out the time. And I hope to connect with you and discuss soon post this webinar. And hopefully, we'll be doing this webinar very often, and hopefully, we'll have you on our panel again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Payal.
Thank you, Payal. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the panelists.
Enjoy. Thank you all.
Thank you, Payal. Authorities of Collegedunia.